In this experiment, we will explore the technique of preparing a soluble salt using titration. Our first step is to fill the burette with the solution for which we know the concentration of. In this instance, this is the sodium hydroxide. When we read the volume from the burette, we do so from the bottom of the meniscus. We must also ensure that the jet space below the tap of the burette is full with the solution we are using. Next, we must measure a controlled volume of the solution for which we do not know the concentration. In this instance, this is the hydrochloric acid. We do so using a volumetric pipette. We carefully place the pipette filler on the top of the pipette. We then evacuate the air and use it to draw 10 centimeters cubed of our solution. This volume is then placed into a conical flask. We use a conical flask because during the titration procedure, we will need to swirl our solution, and this prevents any excess spills. Once we have finished draining our volumetric pipette, we will touch the surface of the pipette to the solution. This will calibrate the volumetric pipette each time. We must now add an appropriate indicator to our solution. In this instance, we have used phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein appears clear in acid and then turns pink in alkali solutions. As you can see, once the tap is open on the burette, the solution begins to turn pink. We use a white tile to see this colour change more clearly. With swirling, the pink colour disappears, but we are looking for the point at which the colour just remains pink. When we reach this point, we term it the end point, and we stop the addition of sodium hydroxide from the burette. Once we have reached this end point, we will now carefully measure the amount of sodium hydroxide from the burette which was added to our solution of hydrochloric acid. Once again, we will read from the bottom of the meniscus, and this will tell us the volume that was needed to neutralise the solution. With this volume to hand, we are now able to repeat the experiment, only this time we will not use the phenolphthalein indicator. Again, we will measure our controlled volume of hydrochloric acid, which in this instance was 10 centimeters cubed. We will then repeat the addition of sodium hydroxide from the burette, only this time we are well aware of the volume of sodium hydroxide needed to neutralise the hydrochloric acid. Do be aware though that we no longer have the phenolphthalein indicator telling us at which point to stop the addition. As we have made a soluble salt, our next step is to remove the water so that we are left with the pure salt on its own. To do this, we set up a Bunsen burner, safety mat, tripod and gauze, together with an evaporating dish containing our sample. We will then place a Bunsen burner underneath the evaporating dish with a roaring flame. The water will then evaporate. We just need to be careful in case the solution starts to spit. We will then be left with our pure salt.